and welcome everyone. Sorry for the bit delay that we are running. We were actually waiting for the plenary session to finish before we could start our panel. But it seems that they are talking a bit longer, so we are going to start our presentation. My name is Albert Nicolas. I work for the Smart City Expo World Congress. I'm substituting Carlos Moreno, who was supposed to be presenting this panel. And the main focus of this panel is to analyze what is the key issues that urbanization everywhere in the world it's facing. So we've tried to put together people that it's working on city development in different areas of the world, and they are working in different areas inside their cities, and they are putting the focus on which urbanization will have to be solving the problems of cities and solving the problems of sustainability, and solving the problems that we will have because of the amount of urbanization that we will have in the world. So we have an example coming from Asia. We have Mr. Taichi Goto. We have a boys also coming from Nigeria, boys coming from Mexico, two boys coming from here, Europe, and each of them will be putting the focus on different areas in which they are working. They are going to be focusing on the role of university. They are going to be focusing on the role of citizen and participation. They are going to be also reviewing the suburbanization problems that it's happening in many cities of the world, which, for instance, in Barcelona, we have already gone through it. We have solved some of these issues, and they are also, and they are looking at how we solve those issues now. How did we solve these issues in our cities in order to make them and imply the same solutions? So without taking this longer, I'm going to give already the voice to the first presenter, that it's going to be Goto. He's the Director General of a city in Japan, Fukuoka. And please, can you join the stage? It's because I've been talking about it.
Hello, everybody. It's my pleasure and honor to be the first presenter of this session. And I'm from Japan, and we'll talk about our challenge, in short, which is the converting a livable city into sustainable city with a focus on economic development. And because I'm representing the public-private partnership organization, I'll conclude with the importance of public-private partnership in the end. And I'll briefly talk about our city, which is on the west side of Japan and actually a bit closer than you think. It's directly connected to Europe by KLM, Royal Dutch Airlines, 4 flights per week to and from Amsterdam, and also by daily flights to Singapore. So you can come to our city quite easily than you think, actually. And benchmarking, you're in Barcelona, and our city is about half of Barcelona in terms of population, and at the same time, GRP, gross regional product. So imagine the scale and the size. And it's 4th largest metropolitan region in Japan after Tokyo, Osaka, and Nagoya. And it's famous in some community because of our high quality of life. It's listed at the 10th by the British magazine Monocle in the previous years after the famous Copenhagen, Tokyo, Melbourne, and Stockholm. But our challenge is actually jobs, or quality jobs. Although Japan is seen as one of the developed countries, we are struggling, as you know, in the economic turmoil. And we need to innovate our economy in one way or the other by converting our economy by linking it to the global economy in one way or the other. And as you might have seen the chart on the bottom, there's a gap between the, oh, it doesn't work, okay. We have many foreign students studying in our city, but they're getting jobs outside of our city, in Tokyo or in their own country. In other words, we are facing with brain drain, and we need to make the best use of those talents by retaining them in our region and converting an economy to meet with the innovating world. But we believe we have a kind of DNA to work with the world because of 2,000-year history. Our city is the oldest city in Japan in terms of trade with foreign countries. And we are very eager to learn from other cities in the world because we opened the first football school learning from Barcelona case. My son is playing football there to be aiming to become a Messi or a Neymar of Japan in the future. Good luck for him. And we set a vision to become not only the livable city, but a business city of Asia in the year 2020. 2020 is the year of the Olympic game in Tokyo. We are lucky enough to have a milestone in that year. And as you see in the table, there are many cities around us which are the biggest in the world: Tokyo, Shanghai, Seoul. And we need to work with those cities somehow, and also with other cities in the world. And then we have a growth strategy with 3 pillars. The first one is about the exporting industry. Our industry is quite domestic. We want to have more exporting part. And we need to increase our diversity because 99% of our population is Japanese. And innovation and creativity, which would be a key for all cities on the panel, I believe. So we are heading to this direction with a focus on the human talent and see what we can do. And it's part of national policy in Japan. Our government designated 6 cities in the country to lead our growth in the coming years. And our theme is the startup and innovation. And I have 3 sections. And first of all, because we need to focus on the people, we seriously looking into city center, not a suburban high-tech park or new development. This we believe is very important. And it is our honor to be a model for the global cities according to the UN Habitat. There are only 2 cities from Japan which are listed as model, Sendai and our city of Fukuoka, and it's already compact. But although we are compact enough, we still need to innovate our city center by connecting different places with a focus on innovation anchors, which we mean the place where we see the innovation happen. Something like a Fab Lab or co-working or the cafe, those kind of places, not glassy high-rise office buildings. And we analyze our city by land use, where businesses are located. And we analyze how people move in the city. And we analyze where we find investment opportunity by location. Then by synthesizing all of these analyses, we really reconfigure the structure of our city center. And this would be the key point. We drew a roadmap for focus investment. We identified where to invest. In other words, where not to invest. Many cities are trying to invest many places, not only the city center in the suburb, in the peripheral area, in the rural part. But we don't have such huge financial resources. We need to focus. Then we decide to focus in the city center, especially in the phase 1 on the left, and on those 5 themes: innovation anchors, public space, waterfront. Those are kind of the areas we are looking into. And I refer to mobility. I'll quickly go through why we need to help people move in the city, because it's very important, we believe, to increase the opportunity for innovation. And first of all, we started analyzing where these things are going on. I have the movie here, but I don't know if I have time enough to quickly explain. Because of the high-tech tools, now we can see when and where people move for what purpose. And this really changed our attitude toward urban planning. It's no longer static, it's moving. And we need to make the best use of this technology to see where people are moving and help them to move easier, to increase the number of meetings or workshops, those kind of things. That's in part a goal of our urban development. I don't know how to stop this one. Okay, I got it. Then we identified some missing links in the network work of our suburb transit network. We have everything within the 2-kilometer radius, international airport, seaport, Shinkansen station, but those are in a way not really connected enough. So we need help with those kind of the high-tech tools. And by doing that, we are doing a feasibility study to develop a new mobility data center as partnership of the private sector transit service providers with the government sector. And the goal to set up this kind of center have twofold. The first one is on the left. We need to really improve our network and ridership of the public transit. But the other could be more key to our sustainable growth, which is to increase urban vitality, increasing the real estate opportunity, and enhance the creation of new business around those data. And this is the conceptual diagram of the services which the data center might provide. From the left to the right, we set up the database using the first baseline data with the locational data coming from the GPS in the mobile, then aggregate it into one data center and provide a service for member organizations, which could be the real estate developer, banks, restaurant, everybody in the city, well, also to the company in the world. Then those companies might provide the end user service for residents as well as for visitors. And we hope this kind of initiative might help our city to be visible on the global economy. And last and not least, I'll emphasize the importance of a partnership because I'm from that part. And the organization, Fukuoka Directive Council, called FDC, is a think and do tank for making and implementing growth strategy for our region. It could be the first one of that kind in the country and recognized by the national government as a model for regional economic growth. And it's beyond triple helix. Of course, there are government members, companies, and academia, but as long as we stay in 3 silos, there's no real collaboration. We need to mix them and work them together around some specific themes to develop a project. And we have 8 plus 8, in total 16 key themes. And now we have 5 working groups as a vehicle to develop a project that could help implement a growth strategy. At the center, you see we have a mice. We're lucky enough to be here to see the global mice event next to our conference, actually. But on the right, on the bottom side, you see 2 themes. One is the urban development, focusing on the city center, urban planning and development. And on the right, you see the smart city working group, focusing on the smart mobility solutions. Those guys work together. And in those working groups, there are members from the public sector, company, and of course with academia, and try to develop a new value as a part of the project. And the uniqueness of our platform is we bring everybody together as a unit for the project. And of course, in Japan, everything is in silos, but we bring everybody together to provide a total life cycle solution for smart city. Of course, we deal with the energy and mobility and construction, and the government might provide water, sewer, airport, seaport, train. And we bring in everybody. And we are not selling the product. We might provide services first for our citizens, and then possibly to for citizens in other part of the world. And to do that, we are local but still global, working from the starting point with a non-Japanese. And in the end, we believe we are not organization, not a partnership. We are the ecosystem to make a new value for our economy. So thank you very much for this opportunity to talk.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. Please welcome our next speaker, José Torre. He comes, you have to take plane from and cross the Pacific and go and from Japan to Mexico. He works for the Monterrey Institute of Technology and Higher Education, and he works in a group that is citizen-centered urbanism. Please, José.
Well, thank you. Thank you very much for this opportunity, and I will share some of the experiences that of urban transformation we're doing in Mexico, and specifically a concrete case in the city of Monterrey. So Mexico is a urban country. 78% of the population in Mexico live in cities now. Out of the census of 2010, out of 112 million. It is concentrated in 59 metropolitan areas, but with 3 large concentrations of metropolitan cities, one in Mexico City, Valle de Mexico, Guadalajara, and Monterrey, which Monterrey is the case I'm going to explain further. From 1980 to 2010, total population in Mexico multiplied by 1.7. Urban population multiplied by 2. So in 30 years, 44 million people, more people, lived in cities in Mexico in the last 30 years, which is a rate of almost 1.5 million persons per year living in cities in Mexico. A huge opportunity, a huge transformation, but unfortunately, something happened in our cities. Our cities grew 2 times in population, but the space, the area, the urban area, multiplied by 7. So the spread of the metropolitan areas, the sprawl of the cities, the distance to move around the cities in Mexico just grow incredibly in the last 30 years, which has been one of the most important causes of some of the problems we're living in Mexico. We thought that building housing was what we needed to do, and somehow we did not understand that we needed to build cities, and that thing it's causing Mexico right now a lot of problems. We missed the boat in the last couple of decades about city building and city making. So we're trying. Mexico may not need to build new cities, but for sure we'll need to redo and transform the cities it already has. So the metropolitan area of Monterrey, it is located in the north part of Mexico, very close to the US border, and it is a very industrial city. It is a very important industrial hub, an economic hub for Mexico. It generates 80% of total GDP for the country, with only 4.4% of the population. But again, it grew 2 times in its population in the same 30 years, but it multiplied its urban area by 5. So creating this huge city with low density and with big distances to travel, obviously by car. It is one of the most polluted cities in Mexico, and it is one of the cities most dependent in cars in our country. The university and the city and our neighborhood and the neighbors decided to get into a project called Distrito Tech. How are we going to transform a city space by space, district by district, neighborhood by neighborhood? So we got together with 17 neighborhoods around the university. The central block is the university plot. and this is the Distrito Tech. It's 17 neighborhoods, 17,000 inhabitants in that space. In the last 10 years, this space has lost almost 1/4 of its population, devoted precisely to the growth, to the horizontal growth of the city. And relatively very few children and a lot of older people, which it doesn't create the dynamics of a livable place, of an innovation space around the university. The Tecnológico de Monterrey is a non-for-profit private institution. It was founded 71 years ago. This campus has 18,500 inhabitants, students, faculty, and staff, which is more than the 17 neighborhoods around the campus. But the system has 100,000 students in 31 campuses around Mexico. So the potential of learning how to transform our cities using this case in Monterrey and applying that to all the 31 campuses in Mexico is just a huge potential for transforming our cities in Mexico. So we were trying to go from a declining urban space that has been losing populations for decades without significant investment by private or public sector to a space around a university that is vibrant, that is attracts and retains talent, and that is an ecosystem for innovation, for research, and for entrepreneurship. Now the question is how to take it from step A to step B. And that's the model and the logic we're following is based on this systematic process of transformation, which the transformation of the campus to be an open urban campus. Right now we're closed within walls, to creating a research and innovation platform around the university that is already happening. I'm not going to go into doing that, but already companies and startups are beginning to spring around the university in very, very interesting situations, creating an innovation platform. But then the urban space around all of this that creates the creativity and the dynamics to make this sustainable. And when we approached our community last year, these were some of the very interesting responses we got. 87% do not participate in community improvement activities. 70% do not meet their neighborhoods. 80% do not participate in organized community events. 96% does not formally participate in any civil activities, and 93% does not volunteer for any activity. So that was our community. So how to change that and transform to this logic? So we decided to work with people first, and how to create a participatory process, to create a shared vision, to open a dialogue, to identify leadership, to build coordination and plans to transform our common space, and to establish actions to do. So a lot of activities and plans and sessions using different methodologies have been taking place. When we began this process, only one of the 17 neighborhoods had a coordinated and organized neighborhood community. Now 11 of the 17 have organized communities, and sessions are being taken into parks, houses, the university, and urban spaces, making a huge potential transformation of the space that is beginning to happen. This is very new. This is a very new process which is already beginning, that we will see some of the results in the future. But some of the things we're beginning to understand is the university, with its research capabilities, education, innovation, and students and entrepreneurial drive, as a catalyst, as a driver of change and of not only urban change, but social and economic change. Participatory process to build shared vision for the future of our cities that really liberates the potential and the power of transformation of our communities, which is fundamental. The university, it's only a catalyst. It's the communities, it's the people, our neighbors that will do the deep transformation of the city space. Coalition of the willing, and now that this process is beginning to move. Now we see a lot of actors, not only private, but also the public sector and the non-government organizations who are beginning to actively participate in the process. It was not like that at the beginning. The beginning was really a drive by the university and by the neighborhoods, but now that things are beginning to move, a lot of people are trying to get into the process and being very helpful as doing that. The other learning opportunity is that having 31 campuses around Mexico, this is a great opportunity to learn and to understand about urban transformation in a sustainable way. So we're using this opportunity also as a learning process. And the exciting thing is also we're beginning to see district by district other cases in our city that certain public or private institutions are taking the lead for not whole city transformation, but more of a district-centered transformation, which we think in Mexico at this stage in the process is going to be a key component of transforming our cities. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Jose. We need to take a plane another time to welcome our next speaker. He comes from Uganda. Sorry before because I said Nigeria. I apologize for that. His name is Samuel Mabala-Shbuta, and he works for the Ministry of Land, Housing and Urban Development of Uganda, and he's the Commissioner for Urban Development. So you can start.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you very much, moderator. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I come from Uganda, which is, unlike the other two presenters, is predominantly still rural. Less than 20% of the population still live in the rural areas. And therefore, there's a very big contrast between Japan, Mexico, and Uganda. As introduction, the urbanization is taking place very, very rapidly. And in Uganda, Uganda is urbanizing at 5.2% per annum, which means that within the next 14 years, the urban population will have doubled. And we expect that by 2050, that will be the tipping point when Uganda becomes urbanized. The key drivers of this urbanization process include a number of factors, but key amongst this is the high natural population growth. The fertility rate in Uganda is very high, standing at 6.9 children per female in the reproductive age group. And that's a very key factor which is driving the growth of the population. Rural-urban migration is picking up due to a number of factors, including inequalities, disasters, man-made and natural education. Access to education is also improving very fast. And because of that, we expect that many more people are going to be moving into urban areas. Now, the number of statistics here which show how the urban areas are picking up in the region. But suffice to say that the urbanization in that part of the world is not planned. And as a result, the number of effects, increased urban sprawl, urban poverty, environmental degradation, inability of the local government to generate sufficient resources for service delivery, and so forth. Social exclusion, including issues to do with corruption. And this is a very big challenge that we are grappling with, particularly in the developing countries. And normally, corruption occurs when those 6 factors or functions are available: monopoly, and discretion without accountability, transparency, and ethics. And as a result, some of these are the results in terms of the chaos. The first one is Kampala, the second one is Lagos, and that is a manifestation of unplanned urbanization. Slums, 60% prevalence in most of the sub-Saharan Africa. So what has been done? I think as a country or as a government, we are focusing on the formulation of the national urban policy. That the urbanization has been taking place without a specific policy framework. And so that is one of the things that has been done. Reviewing the physical planning law and implementing the program for transforming informal settlements. And basically this is focusing on empowerment of the communities other than only improving on the physical infrastructure. Now, I want to share a case of the planning effort within Kampala. That as a result of the unplanned urbanization, in 2012, government supported the planning of Kampala, which looks to be naturally blessed and booming, but then faced with a number of challenges. And we expect that Kampala of tomorrow is set to develop into a mega city. By 2040, we expect it to have a population of about 8 million people. We expect Kampala to become a hub for integrated, balanced urban Uganda, to serve as an engine for growth and a garden city, green at that, leading in culture, education, and the capital of the Uganda Kingdom, which is a cultural monarchy. And then it will be, of course, a home to many Ugandans. The existing population of 3.15, that was the situation then, but we expect it to reach 8 million by 2040. And so, in terms of conceptual model, we are looking at a metropolitan planning structure. And that's the bigger part of Kampala, whereby the core is just 18,000 hectares, while the greater metropolitan is more than about six times as big. But it has been sprawling. So a number of alternatives were considered, whether to adopt the urbanized belt or independent satellite city model, or the east-west corridor, which is in line with the corridor for mobility nationwide. And finally, I think the alternative that was found to be convenient and agreeable was the radial model of integrated satellite cities, east and west corridor. So that is the option which was agreed upon. And then in terms of the question of finding suitable areas where the metropolitan growth should occur, analysis was based on land use, topographic analysis, metropolitan road system, and the available vacant land. And as a result, this is what we came up with, that the metropolis should have a number of satellite, that the development of the existing to become satellite towns, and we can see those in circles. Now, the Greater Kampala Metropolitan Strategic Policy focuses on boosting the development of the existing towns and also planning to establish the new satellite towns based on smart growth principles. And therefore, we look at the Greater Kampala Metropolitan Framework, which is informed by the 5 key factors in terms of the spatial planning area, the transport system, subdivisions into the metropolitan zones to provide a hierarchy, population distribution, and metropolitan service hierarchy. And so this is a kind of model which was finally agreed upon which has kind of radio rings, or the road network of rings, and then the arterial corridor. Now, KCCA, or Kampala Capital City Authority Plan for 2020-2040, proposes the following. A number of, again, models were looked at in terms of ribbon development or focal, but then the integrated model was agreed upon as the most appropriate, considering a number of factors. And so, I just want to share the 7 factors that informed or that shaped the kind of model that we finally agreed upon. The transportation system, the subdivision, population distribution, landscape and nature, city spatial economy, the central business district, and of course improved residential areas. So with transport system, I think the transit-oriented development that would serve the bus rapid transit and new road system were agreed upon, and that provided or informed the kind of transport network that would serve the city. With regard to the corridors for the future, we see that we have a number of rings as well as infrastructure roads of different levels. Planning boundaries were also agreed upon, that instead of adopting the administrative boundaries as the case has been, that the road networks themselves should serve to define the planning zones. And so we come up with new planning zones defined in terms of quarters, precincts suitable for planning. Of course, the natural features also informed that, and we see the population distribution in terms of the population carrying capacities. Then the city landscape is very close to the lake or Lake Victoria, and we expect it also to be the city of the lake by 2040. In terms of economy, provision has been made to provide for pedestrian catchment area within the central business district. And then, of course, we expect that the central business district to be expanded. It has been small, it has been small, but now we expect with the proposal is to expand it to make sure that it serves bigger areas. So ladies and gentlemen, this is a futuristic kind of impression of Kampala of tomorrow. Challenges have been there, but we believe that as long as the will is there, a number of projects have been made. We believe that it will be possible to realize the dream. The unplanned growth looks to be a challenge, but we believe that when we are focused and we have the right kind of plan, we can make things happen. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.
Our next speaker comes from very close to where this conference is taking place. She's the mayor from Gavà, and her name is Raquel Sánchez.
Hola, buenos días. Muchísimas gracias por esta invitación a participar en este congreso y, como bien decía el moderador, mi nombre es Raquel Sánchez, soy alcaldesa de Gavà, una ciudad muy cercana a Barcelona, a 15 kilómetros exactamente, una ciudad de una dimensión pues, pequeña, mediana, unos 46.000 habitantes, y el objeto de mi intervención será explicarles un proyecto que hemos puesto en marcha, que pusimos en marcha hace unos meses, pero que aún pues hoy en día pues estamos ejecutando, estamos en una de sus fases de ejecución, y sobre todo pues bueno, mi intervención les reconozco pues que es una intervención con un contenido más político, básico, pero no por ello menos importante para entender una manera de cómo se debe entender la gobernanza de nuestras ciudades y cómo eso también es un factor esencial también a la hora de planificar el crecimiento de las mismas. Como yo les digo, soy alcaldesa de Gavà, de una ciudad, asumí esa responsabilidad hace aproximadamente 9 meses y desde siempre, desde el primer momento, me he planteado ese ejercicio de la responsabilidad, por una parte como un ejercicio de responsabilidad propia, pero a su vez también como un ejercicio de responsabilidad compartida con y por la ciudadanía. Y a su vez también como un ejercicio de compromiso, pero un ejercicio de compromiso del ayuntamiento, de la acción de gobierno, de un compromiso del ayuntamiento a la hora de llevar a cabo su acción de gobierno, pero también como un ejercicio de compromiso de la ciudadanía, la entiendo así, en los asuntos, en la participación en los asuntos colectivos. Hay varias evidencias o principios que entendemos todos, ¿no?, cuando hablamos de las ciudades, ¿no?, que es que la primera, que las tecnologías son una herramienta imprescindible para gestionar nuestras ciudades y por otra parte también otra evidencia que innovar en la administración para hacerla más accesible, más transparente y más abierta es una necesidad que las instituciones, por reivindicación de la ciudadanía, hemos asumido y debemos asumir cada vez más. En Gavà, estas evidencias, estas necesidades, las hemos puesto en marcha y las hemos puesto en la práctica a través de diferentes procesos, procesos progresivos. Ayer tuvimos la oportunidad también de presentar en este congreso un programa, un proceso que hemos puesto en marcha, una iniciativa pionera, que es el portal de datos abiertos, el Gavà Obert, que le llamamos, es un Open Data, y en este sentido este modelo lo que pretende es poner al alcance de los ciudadanos todos los datos que manejamos desde la Administración, desde el Ayuntamiento, que el ciudadano los pueda conocer y que a su vez el ciudadano pueda hacer uso de esos datos y pueden tener infinidad de usos. Yo les invito, si tienen ganas de curiosear, a que visiten nuestro portal, el Gavà Obert, y allí verán de lo que les estoy hablando. Sabemos, no obstante, que debemos seguir también desarrollando estos nuevos procesos donde tenemos asignaturas pendientes para acercar a la cotidianidad de los ciudadanos y también a ese uso permanente que hacen de las tecnologías, acercarlo a lo que es también la cotidianidad de lo que representan los asuntos públicos. Por lo tanto, a modo de resumen, ¿no?, o a modo de principios, ¿no?, hablamos de Smart Administration, de Open Government y también de Smart Cities, ¿no? Pero una vez asentada esa combinación que asumimos y aplicamos, tenemos otros retos, ¿no? Y en estos momentos esos retos los situamos en el reto de construir Smart Citizens, o que los ciudadanos no los tenemos que construir porque ya lo son, Smart Citizens y Sharing Cities, ¿no? Es decir, los ciudadanos inteligentes, si tenemos ciudadanos inteligentes, y esa condición será, evidentemente, es como conseguiremos también, a su vez, ciudades compartidas. Porque no podemos aspirar tampoco a ciudades inteligentes sin ciudadanos que las compartan, y en ese empeño es en el que nosotros, desde el Ayuntamiento de Gavà y desde la responsabilidad que yo les digo asumo, pues la verdad es que estamos haciendo verdaderos esfuerzos en que eso sea así, porque no entendemos que sin corresponsabilidad, sin espacios de codecisión, sin legitimidad democrática, no hay una ciudad viable, no hay una transformación de la ciudad posible, ni tampoco hay un crecimiento de la ciudad posible. Inteligencia, en este sentido, debe ser sinónimo a diálogo, a conocimiento, a compromiso, a opinión y a participación. Y esa es la opción que intentamos, esa es la opción que pusimos en práctica con este programa que yo les explicaba antes, el Junts Fem Barri. Es un ejemplo práctico de todo ello. Muy brevemente, y para no extenderme, este es un programa que con una dotación inicial de 500.000 euros lo que pretendíamos es que fueran los ciudadanos los que dijeran, con unos recursos limitados, porque estamos en una época de recursos limitados, que fueran los ciudadanos los que priorizaran y decidieran qué proyectos de mejora del espacio público debíamos ejecutar. Hubo una serie de proyectos que salían o que se proponían a instancias del ayuntamiento, pero también se daba un periodo de tiempo, se abría un periodo de tiempo en el que fueran los ciudadanos los que pudieran proponer otro tipo de proyectos de mejora del espacio público. El ayuntamiento propuso 38 proyectos, luego los ciudadanos propusieron en torno a 72 propuestas, a 72 proyectos más. De esos se seleccionaron 16, porque no todos cumplían los requisitos del proyecto, pero en total, al final se presentaron a votación un total de 54 proyectos. De esos 54 proyectos se abrió un plazo de tiempo para que los ciudadanos pudieran votarlos y al final resultaron que se podían ejecutar con esa limitación presupuestaria unos 20 proyectos. En la actualidad estamos ahora en la fase, como les decía, de redacción de los proyectos. En noviembre aprobaremos estos proyectos y la idea es poderlos comenzar a ejecutar en breve y que durante un plazo de 2-3 meses puedan ser vistos en la ciudad y que los ciudadanos que los votaron y participaron pues puedan ver que eso es una realidad. Aquí es un poco un gráfico, ¿no?, de las propuestas, del número de las propuestas, como les decía, de las propuestas ciudadanas, del número también de votos que obtuvimos. Obtuvimos una participación aproximada de unos 1.000 ciudadanos, que ellos fueron priorizando pues cuáles eran estos proyectos. Establecimos un sistema de votación tanto presencial, distribuidos en diferentes equipamientos e instalaciones de la ciudad, pero también un sistema de votación pues a través de la página web. Articulamos también que se pudiera votar a través de teléfonos móviles. Y este fue, al final, el resultado, cómo la ciudad decidió distribuir todos y cada uno de los proyectos. Tenemos aquí una imagen de lo que es la ciudad y, al final, cómo quedaron distribuidos esos proyectos. Esto es el listado. Esto es un ejemplo del tipo de proyecto que se sometió a votación. En ese caso pues, fue introducir juegos adaptados en los parques infantiles de la ciudad. Nos dimos cuenta de que eso también era una necesidad que no se incorporaba en los parques infantiles o que a veces pues, no asumimos como tan necesario, y era una de las propuestas que mayor resultado en las votaciones obtuvo, y por eso no solo en un parque sino en varios de los parques de la ciudad introducimos juegos adaptados pues, para personas que tengan algún tipo de discapacidad. Por lo tanto, estamos muy satisfechos de este proceso, porque más allá de las cifras de participación, una cifra modesta pero a su vez significativa, yo creo que, y más allá de los proyectos en sí, ¿no?, y de que al final hayan resultado 20 proyectos, entendemos que lo importante de este proceso es que, bueno, ese es un proceso de democracia directa, de democracia pues, totalmente abierta, totalmente transparente, y de vinculación entre las decisiones y lo que prioriza el ciudadano y, al final, el compromiso que asume el ayuntamiento de ejecutar eso que los ciudadanos han decidido hacer, ¿no? Es decir, entendemos la gestión pública y la gestión inteligente desde esa doble lógica, un diálogo, conversación entre el ayuntamiento y la ciudadanía, y también el compromiso y el cumplimiento por parte de la administración de esos objetivos y de esas prioridades que ha marcado el ciudadano. La tecnología, evidentemente, y la presencia física en el territorio son los vehículos para garantizar esta conversación iniciada y el seguimiento transparente del compromiso que hemos adquirido. Al tratarse, también les debo decir que al tratarse de una experiencia pues, inédita que hemos puesto en marcha pues, en nuestra administración, en el ayuntamiento, hemos detectado, ¿no?, que hay muchos factores que tenemos que perfeccionar, que pulir, que aumentar y que corregir, pero la verdad es que estamos convencidos de que sin la corresponsabilidad y sin ese compromiso mutuo evidentemente entre el ciudadano y el ayuntamiento, pues desde luego perdemos legitimidad. O dicho sea de otra manera, de esta manera creo que las administraciones, los poderes públicos, desde luego ganamos en cuanto a legitimidad. Por lo tanto, como objetivo que yo creo que tenemos que marcarnos todos aquellos que ostentamos responsabilidades políticas o públicas en este sentido, hacer de la participación un factor irreversible. En este sentido, no hay vuelta atrás. Nosotros hemos iniciado esta experiencia, estamos convencidos y la verdad es que creo que nos va a crear una sana adicción. Uniremos esta fórmula de éxito, la prioridad política, unir la prioridad política con la voluntad ciudadana, ¿no? Por lo tanto, ahí está el reto, construir ciudades inteligentes que son, lo entendemos, que son ciudades compartidas por ciudadanos inteligentes. Muchísimas gracias.
Muchas gracias. Y bueno, nuestro último ponente es el señor, and our last speaker is Juancho Gibelalde. He comes from Everest, and he works on the social business department there. So please, just one thing. After his presentation, we will have some Q&A coming from the audience. There is going to be microphones. And his presentation is going to be around 12 minutes, so if you want anyone, when he finishes his presentation, if you want to stand up and go to the microphones, if you have questions for the panelists, just feel free to do that. So,
Thank you for being here today. What I'm going to talk in this session is about how do we have to redefine some urban services due to the growth of the population in our cities. Specifically, I'm going to talk about the waste management and the cleaning of the city. Okay? This is an issue that takes about 20% of the city budget normally, being the second highest item in the budget after the payrolls of the city. And moreover, due to this population growth and also due to the economic development that we are experimenting in each city, some studies says that the waste generation increases by 70% each 10 years. So we can see that this is a problem that is going to grow in the next future. What do we have to do to deal with all this situation? Okay, in the past, this kind of contrast has been done as a kind of man-hours, number of trucks in the street, how many people are you going to put me in my street to clean the city, and all these kind of things. If we agree with the number that I just said, that in each 10 years, that waste will increase in 70%, with that model, we should increase also our budget in 70%, because that's a direct relationship, okay? What is the change that we have to do, or that we propose? I think that the cities, what they want is to have a clean city and a healthy city, okay? So we have to change this model of contracting to a quality of service model. If we do that, the companies that are providing that service to the cities can apply technology, can improve the processes, can improve the efficiency of the service that they are doing to the city. This is the solution that we propose is the smart waste management deals with two different concepts. First of all, productivity. That's a key issue in order to make that this service more sustainable in the future. Productivity by acquiring new technologies, analyzing the data that we have from the different cities, from the different part of the city, and all this kind of thing. That's very, very important. But it's also very important, the transparency. For us, we have to read the city. There are many, many sensors around the city. We have a lot of people telling you what is happening in the city. So we have to listen to all this information, trying to improve the service. And the transparency with the citizens. Okay, if we are transparent to the citizens, and the citizens have as much information of how the service is being provided, and how is it going, the perception of the quality of the service increases a lot in our citizens. So it's a mix of these two concepts that will make the continuous improvement of this kind of services for the cities. There are different areas that we have to take care about. The first one, the litter bins. Okay, with this solution, what we do is we tag each of the litter bins in the city, and we have a first benefit that it is the first inventory of what we have in the city. We have where do we have these litter bins, and we can draw it in the Google Maps. We have the model of this litter bin. We have the picture of this litter bin. We have what the historical or what has happened with it in the past. You know, we have had to change it because it has been burnt or whatever. When is the last time we have cleaned it? The status of its field of empty, or all this kind of information. This is done because the operators of the company that provides that services have a smartphone with NFC, and that can identify each litter bin and open incidents or resolve the incident that has been opened before. With that, we also have a track of what each operator of this service company is doing during the day. So we have a double benefit there. We also track all the vehicles. In that case, the sweepers that are working in the street, we can see where they are in each moment. We can see it in the Google Maps. We can see it when they are working, when they are sweeping, or when they are just going from one side to the other of the city to go on with their work. But not only that, we also connect with the canvas of the vehicle in order to gather all the information from any probable mechanical problem that the machine may have, so we can do a predictive maintenance of the vehicle, saving a lot of money in this type of vehicles and this type of solutions. In the biggest trucks that collects all the waste in the biggest containers, we do the same. In that case, we have onboard devices that the supervisor, with that devices, the supervisor can send to each driver, to each truck, the most optimized route that they have to do in each moment, taking into account all the information that we have from the different litter bins, from the different containers, from the different incidents that someone has opened around the city. So we don't do fixed routes, but we do the most efficient route in each moment, which also saves, we get a lot of productivity on doing that. And in the same case that with the sweepers, we have also connected these vehicles with the canvas in order to have also the maintenance issues, but not only that. What we can get with this information is the behavior of each driver during the day. So we can rank all the drivers in who is more fuel efficient, who is less fuel efficient, and try to train them doing the best driving behavior that we need in order to save money, save fuel, but also save emissions in the city for this type of trucks. And the containers. Well, the containers, as well as the litter bins, they are also tagged with an RFID tag. We have also the full inventory of all these containers. We know which type of container is, where is it located, the picture, everything. We have also volumetric sensors inside these containers, so they can report automatically the status of the container. That is very important to do this optimized route that I was telling before. Okay. This solution we have here in the Roca company booth. We have there the solution if you are interested to see it, we can show you there in the booth, in Roca booth. And last but not least, the citizen. As the mayor of Gavà was telling, the citizen is the most important thing in each, or should be the most important thing in every smart city initiative. The citizen has a smartphone application where he can post the different incidences that he can find in the city. If, I don't know, if the container is full, if a little bit is burned, whatever, or is it dirty or whatever. These incidents go to the centralized system, and the supervisor assigns that incidences to different operators. When the operator solves the incidents, what it does is he takes a picture of the solved incidents, and this picture goes back to the citizen, because it's very important to give feedback to the citizen in order to that the citizen goes on helping the city with all this kind of information. This application is not only for that. This application also provides some very valuable information for them in order to know how is the status of the containers that they have around his houses, or where will be the next mobile recycling point in the next week in the city. All this kind of information that supports the transparency concept that I was telling at the beginning of the presentation. That's right now is implemented in the Santander city. Santander city is a city of a little bit less than 200,000 inhabitants. We have there more than 9,000 devices connected, more than 3,000 RFID tags, more than 4,000 NFC tags. We have about 1,500 volumetric sensors around the city, more than 150 smartphones working in the applications just for the operators, not for the citizens. And we have more than 100 vehicles being tracked and being monitored around the city and for doing the service. Okay, but that's not enough. I think that's a good start to change the way that we are doing things, the change that we have to contract this kind of services, but we have to go on. We have to learn of the city. We have to analyze what is happening with all the big data that we are gathering from the city, from the different sensors, and trying to improve the new ways, or to implement new technologies in order to improve that services, to make them more sustainable in the future. So that was it. Thank you very much. I'm open to questions.
Thank you, Ancho. Well, it is, at the end, it seems that there are some common challenges and common solutions in all the presentations that we've been seeing in different parts of the world. So I think highlighted some of the challenges and some of the issues that we have been listening in these presentations. We have the challenge of creating jobs, the challenge of the unplanned growth, the challenge of empowering the community, transparency, solving the corruption issue, co-responsibility between the administrators and the citizens, transparency, then the scale in which we are analyzing the problems. So I'm very much interested in one of the issues that it's been that it's been probably present in all the presentation, and it's the fact of reaching the citizens. So because all these strategies in each of the cases, I mean, even if we are talking of waste management, or we are trying to set up a metropolitan region and try to choose which kind of urban strategy we are going to develop in our city, or we are trying to create jobs, one of the main issues that it's always coming back to us and to our agenda and the agendas of our politicians is how do we reach citizens, and how do we make them participate, and how do they have the time, how do we provide the spaces and the time for the citizens to engage in the policy strategies we are trying to put forward. So how I would like to have a round of visions on this issue. So probably starting by who volunteers in this case.
Si quieres yo puedo comentar algo. Una universidad que limita su proceso educativo a las aulas y a las bardas de la institución, me parece que hemos aprendido, limita su capacidad de transformar. Mucho de lo que estamos haciendo en el Tecnológico Monterrey, en esta lógica de urbanismo ciudadano que le llamamos, es cómo rompemos literalmente y físicamente, pero también mentalmente, las bardas que dividen físicamente la universidad, pero mentalmente la universidad también de nuestros vecinos más inmediatos. Parte de lo que pudimos explicar es este proceso de educación ciudadana que probablemente varios de nuestros alumnos pasan en las aulas y que probablemente llenan exámenes, que pudieran o no pasar, no lo sé, pero cuando se convierten en acciones ciudadanas en la vida real, muchas veces hay una diferencia muy clara entre la realidad y la academia. Lo que estamos haciendo nosotros ahora es llevando a nuestros profesores, llevando a nuestros alumnos a trabajar con nuestros vecinos en los procesos de capacitación, de formación ciudadana y de innovación ciudadana para resolver nuestros problemas comunes. Hay que recordar que la institución académica no es una autoridad. Nosotros no podemos plantear una solución como la autoridad lo debe hacer, pero lo que sí me parece que estamos logrando es acercarnos con los vecinos para generar capacidades de coordinación, de identificación de problemas y de solución participativa de los mismos. Con un trabajo de 6 meses para acá, lo que estamos encontrando es un enorme poder de transformación de la ciudadanía. Y en ese sentido nos sentimos pues muy entusiasmados del potencial, aunque todavía tendremos que ver resultados a mediano plazo.
Sí, yo absolutamente de acuerdo con lo que comentaba también él, ¿no? Es decir, nosotros también nos planteábamos y nos planteamos como administración superar esas barreras, ¿no? Esas barreras o esa concepción, ¿no? Que muchas veces o que hasta ahora pues se ha podido tener pues de las administraciones, de los ayuntamientos, ¿no? Como edificios en los que se toman decisiones porque lo decide un alcalde, una alcaldesa, un equipo político que se eligió, pues que se elige cada 4 años, pero sí que nos planteábamos ese reto porque además es una necesidad que además lo sabemos, ¿no? que se impone en el día a día, ¿no? Y además, sobre todo también decir que este proyecto del Junts Fem Barri surgió también recogiendo esos planteamientos que a mí como alcaldesa me hacían llegar los ciudadanos en un programa que puse en marcha que era la alcaldesa als barris, ¿no? la alcaldesa en los barrios, ¿no? Es decir, sacamos la gestión municipal y a los políticos del despacho, del ayuntamiento y lo llevamos a los barrios, ¿no? Y cuando tú te acercas a los barrios y hablas con la gente, son ellos mismos, ¿no? los que te dicen lo que necesita su barrio, lo que necesita el espacio público, y son ellos mismos los que luego en un proceso como este nos hemos dado cuenta de que priorizan, ¿no? Y el ciudadano es muy inteligente a la hora de priorizar, ¿no? Y hay una parcela que sí, que evidentemente pues, tiene que quedar en el ámbito de decisión de quien ejerce la responsabilidad pública, pero hay un ámbito en lo que es más cotidiano que evidentemente hay que articular sistemas, y sistemas los hay, y las nuevas tecnologías en este sentido pues nos abren, pues, en fin, un mundo pues, inabastable. Hay que intentar hacerlo, ¿no? Y no solo eso, yo también estoy muy de acuerdo con lo que él comentaba en su exposición final, también luego es importantísimo hacer el retorno, porque si no se hace ese retorno, evidentemente luego pues puede ser contraproducente, se puede generar frustración, ¿no? Entonces, bueno, este es el gran reto, ¿no? Que al menos desde la perspectiva más de quien ejerce una responsabilidad política yo asumo, es decir, mi ciudad, las ciudades crecerán, evolucionarán, se transformarán, siempre y cuando esto, pues hagamos de eso un ejercicio compartido de corresponsabilidad, es decir, ya creo que podríamos superar el concepto de la participación, ¿no? Y nos deberíamos situar en algo, bueno, pues corresponsabilidad, codecisión, ¿no? Yo creo que ese es nuestro gran reto, ¿no?
Yeah, thank you very much.
I would like to share the experience of Uganda. We have implemented a program for the past 3 years. And one of the objectives was to empower the communities to know their rights, responsibilities, and obligations for effective engagement in planning, in decision-making, for purposes of policy and legal reform. And we have provided or institutionalized forums. At the national level, we have the National Urban Forum, where all stakeholders representing the whole range of representatives of the private sector, the NGO, civil society, communities, all of them get together and hold regular public debates on issues that concern the management of the city. At the municipal level, we have the municipal development forums, and we have gone ahead even to mobilize the communities in informal settlements, where we have settlement level forums. And these forums bring together all people, regardless of their political orientation, and they are able to discuss issues of development. We have used the same kind of forums to identify priorities and inform the development plans of the municipal councils. They are also working as forums to enhance transparency and accountability on any public funded programs. So these forums have been very critical in enhancing ownership of the citizens. They look at the public programs as theirs, not as programs or projects of the council, but they are their programs because they are benefiting them at the end of the day. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
I might say something strange. I guess the citizens are busy, first of all.
Yes.
And they don't want to waste their time to be involved in the official process, actually. And at least in our city. And in that way, I really like the approach of the Everest, for example. It's very hands-on, and they want to do something directly change their life, or quality of life. And in our case, we are bringing actually the companies with citizens to make a new product or new service together to really impact their daily life or make the profit actually for the region, instead of having the open workshop for policy making or discussing a strategy or something like that. And the situation is very cynical, I think. At least in our country, it's a democratic country, but people are sick of, official open process. And many say that what the government can do is first to provide infrastructure, such as data, as the Spanish cases are proving, and also making a policy in one way or the other, and endorsing the public effort as it's good for the public, something like that. In that way, we're talking about citizens, but actually it's a new mode of social governance, I think, in a different format.
Sí, muy rápido. A ver, yo creo que el ciudadano, como hemos dicho en la presentación, tiene que ser el centro de esto, pero es que yo creo que me gustaría ver muchas iniciativas como la alcaldesa Gavà, el que ha puesto al ciudadano no en el centro, sino en el origen, ¿no? Y ahí es donde empezamos a tratar con él y creo que es la mayor parte del éxito. Creo que esto es un tema fundamental y corremos el riesgo de poner de verdad en peligro todas las iniciativas Smart en todas las ciudades, porque en muchas ciudades vemos que hay un desalineamiento entre lo que la ciudad está haciendo y lo que el ciudadano percibe que está haciendo. Porque muchas veces lo que hemos visto es, ha habido ciudades que han empezado a hacer iniciativas Smart, pero más que por tener una estrategia Smart y decir, esto es lo que yo quiero hacer, esto es lo que el beneficio que va a reportar mi ciudadano es, he conseguido un fondo de la comunidad para hacer no sé qué y voy a tirar por ahí. Quizás eso no es la manera más smart de hacer una ciudad smart, ¿no? Entonces yo abogaría para que los alcaldes hagan su estrategia de buscar qué iniciativas buscamos y para qué queremos que el ciudadano, y le cambie la vida al ciudadano, y entonces ya busquemos los fondos y busquemos la manera de hacerlo.
Sí, muy interesante. Entonces, otro de los temas que ha salido y que quería pues, subrayar también es y que es uno de los retos principales que las ciudades están teniendo, es la abertura que hemos tenido. Taichi Goto decía que su prioridad pues, es la creación de puestos de trabajo, porque en el fondo, es decir, aparte, es decir, quizás sería, pues, estamos gobernando para los ciudadanos, o las ciudades gobiernan para los ciudadanos en las que tienen que vivir, pero la prioridad del tema de la ocupación es muy, muy importante. Es decir, cómo estamos en todos estos ejemplos en los cuales hemos estado compartiendo durante esta sesión, la cuestión del retorno en la ocupación. ¿Cuál sería la estrategia o cuál sería la visión respecto a esto?
Actually, making a new job would be the final output of the success. You cannot start from making a job, actually. You need to make the value first, then the jobs follow the value. And in that way, I think providing the data or public information to the citizens or to the private sector would be a very good start to increase opportunity to make new value and resultantly make a new jobs. And I really, in that way, admit the approach in those ways.
En el caso de Monterrey, en el caso del distrito, porque quiero enfatizar que no es una estrategia de la ciudad completa, sino es una estrategia de un distrito particular dentro de la ciudad. Si ustedes recuerdan el modelo donde el centro es la universidad, luego el siguiente círculo concéntrico es esta plataforma de investigación y emprendimiento. Precisamente es este círculo adicional al campus mismo que busca generar un entorno donde el emprendimiento, en donde los estudiantes, junto con los investigadores, con los profesores, puedan encontrar un entorno adecuado para establecer sus empresas y crecer. Monterrey es una zona que históricamente ha sido cuna de grandes empresarios, pequeños, medianos y grandes, en cuanto a su escala económica, pero el entorno cercano al campus no ha sido. Entonces, ¿cómo generar estas condiciones particulares en la infraestructura, en las condiciones de la zona, para que ese emprendimiento aterrice de manera particular en ese espacio y genere una transformación económica y social? Entonces, eso pues, es lo que estamos tratando de hacer y ya veremos.
Sí, pues bueno, esto, yo que hablo de este concepto, ¿no? de codecisión, de responsabilidad compartida, pues lo mismo aplicado pues al sector del crecimiento económico, ¿no? De la proyección económica de una ciudad, ¿no? Yo ponía este ejemplo, ¿no? Del Junts Fem Barri, pues que es un proceso que lo que pretende pues es introducir mejoras y que el ciudadano introduzca mejoras en el espacio público, pero lo mismo debe entenderse pues en otros ámbitos, ¿no? Y en el ámbito del desarrollo económico y de la proyección económica, pues también hay que trabajar en esa línea, es decir, los ayuntamientos, las administraciones, los poderes públicos, pues debemos trabajar también de la mano de las universidades, ¿no? Y en ese sentido, pues mi ciudad, y no solo mi ciudad, sino pues todo el territorio delta, ¿no? Las ciudades de Castelldefels, Viladecans, Sant Boi, pues trabajamos proyectos pues con el campus tecnológico de la UPC, que es la universidad que físicamente está en Castelldefels, pero es la universidad de la zona delta. Trabajamos también proyectos con las empresas, es decir, crear sinergias y esos espacios, ¿no? de codecisión y de planificación también, ¿no? Es decir, especializar, identificar y poner en valor un territorio, ¿no? Y eso desde luego pues tiene que ser también, yo pues sigo con ese discurso del que estoy convencida, y eso tiene que ser desde esa generación de espacios compartidos, es decir, solos, cada uno, no seremos capaces, ¿no? de superar los retos difíciles con los que hoy en día pues, tenemos que lidiar, es imposible, ¿no? Es decir, hay un cambio, ¿no? de paradigma en muchas cosas, y eso pues, es aplicable a todos los ámbitos, ¿no? de la vida pública, ¿no? Evidentemente.
Bueno, parece que ya nos hemos quedado sin tiempo. Si queréis añadir brevemente, if you want to add something very briefly, Mr. Samuel. and Juancho to give the last comments.
I think in the case of the developing countries, where we said 60% of the people are basically urban poor, in my view, I think we need the kind of strategies that we prescribe are quite different. And we believe that because they are the majority in the urban areas, therefore it is important to mobilize them into groups where they can save. And the whole essence is for them to be equipped with a saving culture, to save and generate sufficient resources that they can now be able to access for business development. And in that way, what government is doing is to support them, to equip them with a new set of skills, of information, of knowledge, of entrepreneurship, that they can now be able to do business at a formal scale, not informal. And that way they can be able to add value, they can be able to create employment, they employ themselves, and have access to regular source of income. And at that point, we expect them now to form themselves into housing cooperatives, which now can partner with the private sector and be able to put up affordable housing. So in my view, that is the kind of strategy which we are trying to promote to cause transformation. Thank you.
Yo, muy rápido. En cuanto al empleo que estabas hablando, estoy de acuerdo con el representante de Fukuoka, que es verdad que a lo mejor mi presentación podría llevar a pensar que estamos destruyendo empleo, ¿no? Pues estamos esa eficiencia, esa productividad. Lo que estamos haciendo es trasladar ese empleo a otro tipo de empleo, ¿no? Y gracias a esos nuevos sistemas, lo que estamos consiguiendo es crear un ecosistema de empresas mucho más innovadoras, que se van adaptando a las nuevas tecnologías, a las nuevas oportunidades que nos abren, pues tanto al nivel de sensórica como temas de aplicaciones, open data, etcétera, etcétera. Entonces, lo que estamos haciendo es, creo, crear un empleo de mayor valor, que además podemos ser España un país que tiene cierta relevancia en ese sentido y poder exportar.
Well, thank you very much to all the speakers, and I think that after this short debate of 1 hour and presentations, we have put together a set of challenges and a set of solutions and thinkings and strategies that we are developing in the urban context in order to make place to all the citizens that are coming and to cope with the population growth and the urbanization growth that is happening in the world. So I would like to give a big hand and thank you for your attention.